At 61, Melissa Gilbert has often been revisited in public conversation for her iconic role as Laura Ingalls on Little House on the Prairie. But recent attention has shifted toward her reflective comments about her former co-star, Melissa Sue Anderson. In later life interviews, Gilbert has spoken with unusual candor about the realities of growing up in the spotlight, the emotional complexity of childhood fame, and the misunderstandings that can form between actors who shared such formative years. Her reflections are not framed as scandal or revelation in the sensational sense, but rather as a mature reassessment of a shared past that was once simplified by audiences. Gilbert emphasizes that what viewers saw on screen was shaped by storytelling, while real life behind the scenes involved growing pains, insecurities, and evolving identities. Her comments offer a broader meditation on how childhood friendships formed under extraordinary circumstances can shift over time, becoming layered with memory, distance, and perspective rather than simple harmony or conflict. Early life, adoption, and Hollywood roots. Melissa Gilbert was born in Los Angeles, California, entering the world at the center of the American entertainment industry. Her biological parents, David Darlington and Kathy Wood, faced financial hardship and concluded that they could not provide the stability they felt a child required. As a result, they made the difficult decision to place her for adoption shortly after her birth. She was taken in almost immediately by actor Paul Gilbert and his wife Barbara Crane, both deeply connected to the performing arts. This adoption placed her within a household shaped by creativity, performance, and the expectations of Hollywood life. Barbara Crane's family background in entertainment and writing further immersed Melissa in a world where storytelling and performance were everyday realities. From the very beginning, her life was intertwined with the rhythms of film sets, auditions, and artistic expression, setting the stage for a career that would begin far earlier than most children ever encounter professional work. Childhood in a shifting family landscape. Gilbert's early years were marked by both opportunity and emotional complexity. Her adoptive parents, Paul Gilbert and Barbara Crane, divorced when she was around 8 years old, introducing instability during a formative period. Barbara later remarried Harold Abeles, and through this union, Melissa gained a half-sister, Sarah Rebecca Abeles, who would later become known professionally as Sarah Gilbert. Family transitions continued when Paul Gilbert passed away in 1976 following a stroke, leaving a lasting emotional impact. Despite these changes, Melissa was raised within a culturally Jewish household, participating in traditions and values even without formal conversion. Growing up in this environment, she experienced both the privileges and pressures of being connected to Hollywood, while also navigating personal loss and shifting family dynamics. These early experiences contributed to her resilience and shaped her understanding of identity, belonging, and the importance of emotional adaptability in a life lived partly in public view. First steps into acting and early exposure. Melissa Gilbert's entry into acting came at a remarkably young age, influenced by her surroundings and family connections. She began appearing in television commercials, including early work for Alpo dog food, alongside established actors such as Lorne Greene. These early roles introduced her to professional sets, camera work, and the discipline required in the entertainment industry. Unlike many child performers who enter acting gradually, Gilbert's exposure was continuous and immersive, making the studio environment feel almost like a second home. She quickly developed a sense of professionalism, learning how to take direction and perform under pressure. These experiences were foundational, not only building her technical abilities but also shaping her emotional understanding of performance. The expectations placed upon her at such a young age meant she grew up balancing normal childhood development with the structured demands of television production, a duality that would define much of her early life. Landing Little House on the Prairie, Gilbert's defining career moment came when she was cast as Laura Ingalls in Little House on the Prairie, a role that would transform her life and place her at the center of American television culture. The casting process was highly competitive, with hundreds of young actors auditioning for the part. Her selection was influenced by her natural presence, emotional expressiveness, and ability to embody both innocence and determination. The series, led by Michael Landon, became a cultural staple, depicting family life on the American frontier. Filming began in the early 1970s, and the show ran for nearly a decade, making Gilbert a household name before she reached adulthood. She worked closely with a young ensemble cast, including her real-life brother Jonathan Gilbert, who played Willie Oleson. The intense production schedule meant long hours on set, creating strong bonds among cast members, while also placing significant pressure on their developing identities. Expanding roles and artistic growth. As Gilbert matured, she began seeking roles beyond Little House on the Prairie, aiming to diversify her acting portfolio. She appeared in a range of television films and adaptations, including The Miracle Worker, The Diary of Anne Frank, and Splendor in the Grass. These projects allowed her to transition from child roles to more complex characters, often dealing with emotional depth and historical significance. In Choices of the Heart, she portrayed humanitarian Jean Donovan, further demonstrating her willingness to engage with serious dramatic material. Her work during this period reflected a desire to be seen not just as a former child star, but as a versatile actress capable of handling nuanced performances. This stage of her career was marked by experimentation, growth, and a gradual shift toward more adult storytelling, as she sought to redefine her identity in an industry that often struggles to separate actors from their earliest roles. Television evolution and voice work. In the 1990s, Gilbert continued to evolve professionally, taking on varied roles across television and voice acting. She voiced Barbara Gordon, also known as Batgirl, in Batman, the animated series, contributing to one of the most acclaimed animated adaptations of the character. She also appeared in Babylon 5, portraying Anna Sheridan, in episodes that connected her both professionally and personally, as she acted alongside her then-husband Bruce Boxleitner. These roles highlighted her adaptability and willingness to explore different genres, from science fiction to animation. While not every project achieved critical or commercial success, Gilbert maintained a steady presence in the industry. Her career during this period reflected resilience and persistence, as she continued working in a competitive field while navigating the challenges of maintaining relevance beyond an iconic childhood role. Career challenges and reinvention. Like many former child actors, Gilbert experienced professional setbacks alongside her successes. Projects such as Little House, A New Beginning, Stand By Your Man, and Sweet Justice did not achieve strong critical reception, reflecting the unpredictable nature of television production. Despite these challenges, she continued pursuing roles and expanding her creative interests. Rather than withdrawing from the industry, she explored new opportunities, including production work and occasional directing. This period demonstrated her commitment to staying active in entertainment, even when projects did not always meet expectations. Her persistence underscored a broader theme in her career: adaptability in the face of changing industry landscapes and personal evolution. These experiences also informed her later work, giving her a more grounded understanding of both success and failure in Hollywood. Memoir, stage work, and public life expansion. Gilbert later revisited her early career through memoir writing, publishing A Prairie Tale, where she reflected on her experiences growing up in Hollywood. The book offered insight into her family life, professional journey, and emotional development. She also returned to the Little House legacy through stage adaptation, portraying Caroline Ingalls in a theatrical production that toured nationally. In 2012, she participated in Dancing with the Stars, showcasing her adaptability in a competitive reality format. Later, she briefly entered political life by announcing a congressional run, though she withdrew due to health concerns. Additionally, she founded her own production company, focusing on creative control and supporting new projects. These endeavors illustrated her continued reinvention and willingness to engage with different public roles beyond acting alone. Marriages and personal relationships over time. Gilbert's personal life included 3 significant marriages, each representing different stages of her emotional and professional development. Her first marriage to actor Beau Brinkman began in the late 1980s and lasted several years before ending in divorce. This relationship occurred during a transitional phase as she moved from child stardom into adult acting. Her second marriage to Bruce Boxleitner lasted over a decade and placed her within another high-profile Hollywood partnership, blending family life with professional visibility. Their eventual divorce reflected the challenges of maintaining long-term relationships under public scrutiny and demanding careers. Each marriage contributed to her understanding of partnership, personal needs, and emotional compatibility, shaping her perspective on relationships later in life. Later marriage and stability. With Timothy Busfield. In 2013, Gilbert married actor and director Timothy Busfield, marking a more settled and emotionally grounded chapter. Their relationship developed with an emphasis on mutual respect, shared interests, and emotional stability. Unlike earlier relationships shaped heavily by public attention and career pressures, this partnership reflected a more private and balanced approach to life. Busfield's background in both acting and directing complemented Gilbert's experience, allowing for creative understanding as well as personal support. This marriage has often been described as more reflective of long-term compatibility, shaped by maturity and life experience rather than industry momentum alone. It represents a later stage in Gilbert's personal evolution, where emotional clarity and stability became central priorities. Revisiting Melissa Sue Anderson and shared history. Gilbert's recent reflections about Melissa Sue Anderson are grounded in decades of shared history from Little House on the Prairie. She has described their relationship as complex, shaped by childhood fame, long working hours, and the emotional intensity of growing up on set. Rather than presenting conflict, her comments emphasize nuance, acknowledging both connection and distance over time. Gilbert has spoken respectfully of Anderson's talent and professionalism, while also noting that their paths naturally diverged as they matured. She frames their relationship as one shaped by circumstance, rather than simple friendship or rivalry. Her reflections highlight how childhood bonds formed in extraordinary environments can evolve in ways that are not easily defined, especially when viewed through the lens of adulthood and hindsight. A concluding perspective on memory and understanding, Gilbert's reflections at 61 ultimately serve as a broader meditation on memory, perspective, and the passage of time. Her comments about Melissa Sue Anderson are less about revelation and more about reinterpretation, offering a mature understanding of shared experiences that were once simplified by public perception. She emphasizes that childhood relationships, especially those formed in the entertainment industry, exist within unique pressures that shape how individuals grow and separate. Looking back, she expresses appreciation for the shared history without attempting to redefine it as either wholly positive or negative. Instead, she acknowledges complexity, change, and the natural evolution of human connection. Her perspective underscores a central truth, that early fame creates bonds that are real but not always permanent in form, and that understanding those bonds often requires distance, reflection, and time.